Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Jeremiah with Acrylic Vibes, and today I've got a sweet cover up for you. Here we're doing a little bit of blue acrylic paint mixed in with a little cashew acrylic paint. Looks gold right now, but it's actually cashew. Tossing a little white on top because it needs a little white. Paint that in, brush it lightly, smoothly, gently. Get the blue side. You see those little white streaks in it? Yeah, exactly what I was going for. And then splatter it with some black paint. Have fun with it. So this is not what I meant to happen, like at all, but I went with it. You know, it happened and I went with it, and then just started smearing pink paint all over the canvas. What was supposed to happen was the bubble wrap was supposed to make little bubble wrap indentions on the canvas, but I used way too much paint. Here, I'm correcting it. I'm doing it a little bit more. I tested it out prior to putting it on the canvas, which is a smart move. And now I'm getting the result that I wanted. Still a little too much in my opinion, but it kind of worked out in the end. Next, I'm using white spray paint and store-bought stencils to spray paint white lightning onto the canvas. Next, I'm using frog tape to tape off both sides of my canvas. Next, I took some of my used drop cloth plastic and covered the rest of the canvas so the spray paint doesn't go anywhere but where I taped it off. And of course, using the white acrylic spray paint again, just spray painting over where I taped off. Now peeling the frog tape up and putting it right back down after it dries, of course. This is a day or two later, so that I can brush shadows onto the edge of the frog tape so that when I peel up the tape, it looks a little something like this. Perfect. Next, I'm using a tape measure so that I can measure off where to mark for my next tape so that I have even lines on both sides. Again, using the white acrylic spray paint, but I actually needed to be using the pink spray paint instead. So I applied the pink spray paint and then took some of my stencils and stenciled out these wavy looking designs. And then against my better judgment, went and sprayed black spray paint on the corners of it. I have no idea why. I was beating myself up for a second for it. But once I took the tape off, I'm actually pretty happy with it, to be honest with you. So I left it, kept going, did my shadows again after it dried. Peeled the tape up. Wasn't super happy with those shadows, but I let it roll. Next, I got to tape off the rest of the canvas, all the corners of the canvas, as well as the middle. I used the cloth to press down the tape to really seal the edges in, and then measure off each strand of tape to make sure I have even tape across the board. Here, I'm using a little bit of Floetrol, paint medium, to really seal those edges so paint doesn't sink underneath the tape. Next, I'm gonna put some paint on the canvas, a little bit of white, a little bit of black, and then take my brush and go back and forth with it. As for the brush, I actually made that myself. Went to Lowe's, bought a couple brushes and a ruler stick, and drilled the brushes into the stick and used it on the canvas to make the gradient. I actually saw this from an incredible artist named Nick Bolton, and I learned how to do it, ended up implementing it into my artwork, and it's absolutely incredible. I love it. This is one of my favorite parts, where I put acrylic paint onto a spatula and toss it onto the canvas. It's the definition of playing with paint, in my opinion. If you've never tossed paint like that before, I highly recommend it. Next, I have to carefully take off the tape, making sure none of the wet paint gets on any of the other parts of the canvas, or making sure my fingers aren't covered in wet paint before I touch parts of the canvas. And there you have it. That is my finished piece. I absolutely love it. Love the colors, love the design. Very, very happy with it. It's for sale in my Etsy store if you want to go check it out. Link is in the bio. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you liked the video, and I'll see you next time.